Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Namaskar. This is Engineer Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India on this day, February 19, 2022, Saturday. This is now 3:40 AM. मैं सूरज सिंह सिविल इंजीनियर भारत इंडिया से बोल रहा हूँ। आज दिनांक फरवरी 19, 2022 शनिवार सुबह के 3:40 Back to you about continuation of top title quality project works, coordination world, communication, network, concrete, civil field engineering, reliable engineers, work contracts, safety, designs, construction methods, claims. गुणवत्ता प्रोजेक्ट्स के कामों पर संचार तथा समन्वय दुनिया में काम में कंक्रीट मटेरियल अभियांत्रिकी और किस तरह से ऐसे अभियंता जिन पे विश्वास किया जा सके, जिन पे ट्रस्ट किया जा सके, जिनके काम पे ऐसे काम करने वाले लोग और कामों के निबंध कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स संविदाएं या आप कह सकते हैं करारनामा और सेफ्टी सुरक्षा डिज़ाइंस निर्माण के तरीके दावे ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस वगैरह वगैरह। थोड़ा मैंने हिंदी में बताया है, कोई बात नहीं है। नाउ यू कैन सी आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट इन जनरल दिस इज माई एज यूजुअल टू स्टार्ट विद माई email ID, that is suraj_engineer@yahoo.co.uk. Engineer is ENGINEER. Chartered engineer and INTP, and other one is you can say Chartered Engineer India, which you know very well. Many times I explained, and now it is Fellow of Institution of Engineers India. Coordination file, quality file. I just closed this file many times. Now this is certification of INTP. This is my, again I said, and now I go to quality and coordination. As I say, quality, gunvatta, for me, for you, for everybody, it should be a serious matter for everyone in our country as well as in other country. But I am concerned presently for our country because I understand, I feel, I realize, and I'm very much concerned, upset about quality and coordination. These two words are very important, quality and coordination. That's why I blow up for you, quality and coordination. Actually, this we should be serious about. Quality and coordination we have to be serious about because I find that these are related to each other. Quality is something which is extraordinary in definition, and coordination is its links, its environment. Without quality we cannot produce materials which can be satisfactory to defined requirement, or we can say which can comply with definitions of specifications or what is intended to be produced and used. Gunavatta cannot be equated to substandard work. Gunavatta, quality, it is Hindi equivalence, and coordination is something that is not productive but effective. We cannot measure coordinations in terms of production or in terms of its time. It is, you can say like your body fitness. If coordination is conducted properly, information is received properly, information is collected properly, and that information that is collected properly is understood properly, evaluated properly, applied properly. And that is what we can say coordination means. There may be whatever number of ordinates in some problem or some numerical, all ordinates are concerned. It's not necessary how many, there's no limit of ordinates. And ordinates means some value on y-axis. and its location is on x-axis. So if suppose x is this value, y is this value, at x location what is value of y, and that is called ordinate. There can be horizontal mobility of ordinate, but there is no question of vertical mobility. And that mobility means everybody has to an extent, or you can say as far as that question is concerned, everybody has equal status in consideration, because everybody is involved in coordination. So we have to understand that coordination means you have to work together, all these ordinates, to achieve some goal, to achieve some destiny, to achieve some, you can say some floor or some milestone. We can call it milestone, it's okay. Quality is that, and no one cannot defy it. We can't defy that quality that is required, and that's why I say quality and coordination. I usually say get up, though it's no need, it's not sleeping. Actually speaking, quality is not sleeping. It is we who are sleeping. It's very fact. We are sleeping, quality is working, quality can work, quality doesn't refuse. But in our country, which is named Bharat, India, it has to speak about itself, and that speak is in consideration, in imagination, in hypothetical means, because it doesn't exist. So Bharat public says, Bharat people say, I want quality and coordination, though I don't understand coordination in public, but I want quality. Coordination, those who are interested in doing work, they have to understand. And believe me, it's very important point. At current moment, I say, you can experience yourself. It's not only in work, it's everywhere. It's missing. Coordination is missing. And coordination means samanvay. Samanvay in Hindi, or you can say something should happen for some objective. There may be many people involved in some work. And if those people are mandated to be involved, and if these people do not involve themselves at same time when required, what shall happen? That work shall not be realized. There shall be prorogation of that work or delay on that work, and means quality does not work there. If these four, for example, there are four wheels in a car. If one wheel doesn't work, you think car shall move? That is a question mark. Coordination is like that. How many wheels you have to travel with? Those wheels must work. And if those wheels don't work, how can you say something happens? It cannot happen. It will involve either skidding of car, or you can say it will involve some kind of difficulty in movement of car. And that difficulty is actually substandard application. And that's why he raised this question of coordination. It's not only in engineering, but also everywhere it applies with. You might be using certain services in your home or elsewhere from some vendor. And that may be services of maintenance or services of some television channel or whatever, air signals or internet, these services. And you must be expecting good signals all time. You must be expecting good television relay. You must be expecting something. I mean, what happens actually. Why I'm referring this to you, that though it's so electronic world, digital world, every day we write many mails, we get responses. Sometimes we don't get responses. We get telephonic responses, mobile responses. We don't get written responses. We have become so fast that people are not interested in writing. And if you take current kids, current youth who are online, who have to respond, or you can say who are in customer care everywhere. Customer care is given name, or help is given name. Let us say help or customer care. Everywhere you find on whatever website of services or material sale. This is our customer care. They'll give telephone number. They'll give you emails also sometimes. But did you notice that if you write to them through email and you raise your query, your question, you complain something, you will get an automated response. Of course, that is very much valid. That immediately you get a response as if world has become very fast, but that is machine response and standard language response. This will not read your contents of mail and will say, okay, we have received this, somebody will contact you. And nobody, after some time, will find you get a call. They say, we have got your complaint or we have got your mail. Now, what's your problem? Well, I'm surprised to get that question from customer care or those who respond. What's your problem? Well, you will be pleased to know that you are getting this mail response, and you have to repeat that question which you wrote in that. You will not be annoyed first time. Okay, maybe I help them, and you tell them. Then he will say, okay, we'll take care. Now it will happen again. You will get same call from some other customer care person. And same question, did you get any action? Did something happen to you? Now you have to tell them something happened or didn't happen. They will not even know what question was. You will, oh, you sent a mail and you registered a complaint. Now what is that matter? And this usually happens. I get many such responses, and not one time, second time, third time. Sometimes it happens that I already explained to someone on your end, but that person will say again same means it happens twice or thrice. Despite you talked to person already and you got some agreement, but later on again you get same. Now what does it indicate? Have thought of this. Maybe you're not experienced this one, but this usually happens. And this is what I'm talking of. This clearly indicates that you are using only mobile services. You are not interested in mails. Mails you are given, you are getting because there is a requirement of law, and you are not interested in mails answer except automation, automatic messages, and you never respond to that. Now that is my question. Are we mobile born now? Have we changed our nature from documenting and just to verbatim on mobile so that no record is maintained? That's a point of view. We don't want to do something, we just want to record something. Does it work in life? You again do same thing, they will happen again and again. This means it is clear. Well, we generally write in English, all these mails, ordinary English, not very complicated English. And it is also true that no one reads it. Whatever you write, short message or long message, nobody reads that. And that is the reason they ask again and again, what's your problem? And you have to tell them again and again, this is my problem. You go on talking to them, you have an argument with them, you may be angry. Again you will get after 1 or 2 days, same question. And that's why I'm saying, are we dead? That's what I'm saying. Have we no coordination in our country, or it applies everywhere? Well, I think this call center in past and present has changed the entire environment because people have become habitual of verbatim. They have been just conversation, and they will say, okay, this conversation is very important, this and that, and it will be on record for our scrutiny, for investigation, for experience. Well, it's for them important, not for you. Well, it should be important for everyone, for customer as well as for company. So what happens? They for themselves they are happy. Will take care of that. Will record it. But if you can't read mail, what's meaning of record? But they just want to satisfy you that we are taking your care, and that's where I object. You have to take care of my mail. You did not read it, number one. You just send an automated message, another number one, and number one have to. Now you are calling me again for asking problems. So where is that? This means number one and number two have gone to ashtray. There is ashes, no meaning of that. This means there is no coordination. There may be few personnel in that section of customer call, help, and one person does and no other. Means if you call me, you have not made any entry in your file that this matter has been discussed. Other person therefore calls again. That's why I say there is no objectivity in such call centers. Your coordination is not done. And if coordination is not done, means you are not clear, just you are calling for sake of calling, and I'm talking to you for sake of talking to you. And I did not pay you for this service. I paid you for action. And action is not affected. And this is very common these days. Action is not affected. You will spend time on talk calls, and I spend time of mails, and they will just delete mails possibly, or they will keep on record without reading that. That is where weakness lies. And it happens everywhere, not one place or another place, it's general. Culture of reading, culture of writing has gone. Culture of coordination has gone. Gone to which place I don't know. Coordination doesn't exist, quality doesn't exist. So what exists then? I don't know what exists. How can you get good product? How can you get quality product if we don't have all this? And that is a big question mark. We don't have all this. We have to understand all this. It is us, it's a must. If we don't understand all this, what do we understand about? So that's why I raised this question of quality and coordination, which is a very big question for everyone, and we are sleeping and we have to come out of the sleep. It's not easy, I know, because our youth are not habitual of that. Talking, you get sometimes many calls from different advertisers about whatever service, and they go on talking and talking and talking like parrot. They don't listen. They say, I'm talking from this organization on this behalf, this and that. So they talk very fast. This in the same way happens. And that's why if it happens in communication, this means it happens in work also. And that's where I'm really concerned with. Maybe you people don't agree with me. Even then I don't mind. Because it's very difficult to make people understand. It's really very difficult to make people understand about something. And the same things here you are. Everybody. We don't try to understand. And that's why I raise this question always, that quality for me is a question mark. And I have been seeing this difference. I was young long back, and I still remember those days. Those days when we used to write everything, though it was written either by writing, by pen, or using some typewriter. But in those days, writing was very important. Speaking was very difficult because there were no major phone services. And even if you called someone, person should be available online. Now, availability of line is not important because everybody has got gadget, mobile. So talking is very easy, and people talk lengthy, very long talks. I have seen even personal talks people make for hours together. Well, this means you are eroding. You have been eroding, and you have eroded writing culture. Sorry. So we have eroded writing culture, and that is very serious matter. Writing culture, why did we erode? You see what happens. What happens that when there is a dispute, whatever type of dispute, to solve that, evidences are required, and nobody wants to give evidence to other one. And that's a very important point. And it's very important in every sense, not in one sense. You can experience that, and I think you have to experience it all times. And if you say, let us say, what's meaning of coordination? Let us say this is term coordination. It says in definition somewhere it's written that in linguistics, coordination is a complex syntactic structure that links together two or more elements. These elements are called conjuncts of conjoints. Presence of coordination is often signaled by appearance of a coordinator, and but like that there are definitions, and we can say coordination definition and meaning is Webster. Meaning of coordination is process of organizing people or groups so that they work together properly and well. How to use this is Webster dictionary meaning, and let's read it further. I'll show you what it says. Just read it, I will not show you anyway. Process of organizing people or groups so that they work together properly and well. Harmonious functions of parts of effective results. And we can say collaboration, it's also called parallel world is collaboration, cooperation, teamwork, and non-cooperation opposite to that. And now coordination is therefore very important part of our life, we can say. If you want to run away from that, that's another point, but what important is that now we say we have the dictionary. I'm not interested in dictionary meaning, I'm interested in something else, and I think it's somewhere else. Wikipedia says something. Let's see what Wikipedia says. So Wikipedia is very important in this, and I'm just trying to explain to everyone what is this actually. In linguistic coordination, the complex syntax structure that links together two more elements. These elements are called conjuncts or conjoints. Presence of coordination is often signaled by appearance of a coordinator. This means for coordination there should be some coordinator. There should be some coordinator coordinating conjunction. That is, but in English, the totality of coordinators and conjuncts forms an instance when totality of coordinators and conjuncts. What it is? Presence of coordination. Presence of coordination is often signaled by appearance of a coordinator, and this is coordinating conjunction. It's called conjunction. And conjuncts forming an instance of coordination is called a coordinate structure. Unique properties of coordinate structures have motivated theoretical syntax to draw a broad distinction between coordination and subordination. It's also one of many constituency tests in linguistics. Coordination is one of most studied fields in theoretical syntax, but despite decades of intensive examination, theoretical accounts differ significantly, and there is no consensus on best analysis. And what is this? Is coordinators means a coordinator or a coordinating conjunction often appears between conjuncts, usually at least between penultimate and ultimate conjunct of coordinate structure. So it's making a structure. Words and or are by far most frequently occurring coordination in English. Coordinates in English. Other coordinates occur less often and have unique properties, namely but, as well as, then, etc. These are all coordinates. Now, these are in English language written. Coordinator usually serves to link conjuncts and indicate presence of coordinate structure. Depending on number of coordinators used, coordinate structures can be classified as synthetic whole. Now, different types of coordination are there in English language. Now, coordination is a very flexible mechanism of syntax, and given lexical and phrasal category can be coordinated. So this is some examples given. For example, says examples throughout this article employ convention whereby conjuncts of coordinated structures are marked using square brackets and bold scripts, etc. Now, structure of coordination that's given in English itself. I was trying to refer to you what about this. So that's what we have to say. It's not only this we have to say about this. And now what I'm talking is in work. It is organization of different things or people so that they work together. That's what its meaning is. Organization of different things or different people so that they can work together. विभिन्न वस्तुओं, हिंदी है विभिन्न वस्तुओं या व्यक्तियों का समन्वयक, संगठन, तालमेल, समन्वय या शरीर, ability to control movements of your body properly. That's also another one. शरीर का विभिन्न क्रियाओं को समन्वय रूप से नियंत्रित करने की क्षमता. That's also there. And coordination definition meaning in Cambridge. Okay, that's what I tried to explain to you. Start, So coordination is already explained to you. I'll close this right now and come back to you. So my dear conjunctors, samanvay, that's we have to do. When we do some work, whatever work we do in life, it should be properly coordinated. That is real requirement. हर काम को बराबर समन्वय करने के बाद करना चाहिए. Perfect example is our body. You can say there can be no further definition to understand what is coordination. Coordination of mechanism. It's a mechanism, machine coordination. There are several parts in every machine. Every machine has several parts, and machine works. It clearly means we don't understand that, but if a machine works, it has complete assembly, complete parts. If one part is defective or one part fails to work, machine shall not be able to work, or it shall work with some problems because of inefficiency of the cause due to that non-performance by that part which is defective. That is where we can say every part of machine should work together, just like in our body. It's a natural one, but there are so many organs in our body, so many roots in our body, so many intestines in our body from head to feet. And if even one is affected, body shall work indeed, we shall not die, but it shall work inefficiently. It shall cause pain, it shall something else. All parts should, when we say I'm healthy, I'm working well, my body is fine, there's no problem with me, that stage is called perfect stage of coordination. Every part works together so that you can enjoy the result of your body, you can live comfortably. So you can refer what is meaning of coordination. Sometimes people do not understand what is coordination. People think that writing letters is coordination or contacting someone is coordination. That is communication. We have to make a difference between communication and coordination. Communication is a medium. It's just a medium which has no responsibility. Communication is not responsible for right work. It's not responsible that it can take responsibility of some action because this is just a medium. Just a medium means track cannot take responsibility of train service. Train has to serve, track can be used. Road cannot take responsibility of a car or of transport. Road is a medium. That's what we have to understand. Communication, sanchar. Communication is for you. You have to use this communication, but that use of communication, what way you do, you conduct, it's your responsibility. I'm just trying to explain, though it's very, very primitive, it's very elementary, everybody knows it, but sometimes what happens, we know, but we can't identify what's right, what's not right. This happens. Example I give, let us say nature, Brahmand, universe. We know there is a planetary system of planets, and that's solar system. And we say there may be more and more solar systems. That's what scientists say, everybody says. We have no information on that, but we feel something, we talk of. Now, let us say, assume we have been told about this, but every night you can see in the sky, we see millions and millions of stars. How many do we think, or till now you have thought in your life, what's value of these stars, what's meaning of these stars, how this contribute to you, or are these helpful to us? Just like solar system is helpful to us, sun gives us light, sky is there, or you can say air is there, used by everybody, rain is used by everybody. We know that, we use nature in this way, fertilizer, crop, all these, we have some relation to nature and our existence, survival. Now, my question is, what about stars? How many of us have thought of these? Only in some different way. Oh, twinkle, twinkle, little star. We know there are stars, but we do not know what are these. These may be some, because some entities these are. How many millions, crores or trillions kilometers are from here, we don't know. But what is the role of these stars in nature? That's also unclear. We can view stars, but we don't understand. We know what's meaning of sun, how does it help us, what's meaning of moon, how does it help us. That's where we say our studies are incomplete. We never think of anything, but these are realities that stars are there. Maybe these are other solar systems. Who knows? Could be. So there's some purpose. So God never makes anything without purpose. There should be some purpose of these stars. Same way we have to think about coordination. We do coordinate sometimes, and we don't care about that. What happens? For example, you write some letter, application, you file some application with some department, wherever you write, and you don't follow up. They expect you to follow, or they follow themselves. But then we drop it and say, okay, I filed and that's my duty, my over, and nobody takes any action. Because you are not serious. Seriousness is required. Why am I questioning this quality issue here now? Because quality has been falling, has been eroding, has lost its purpose. Quality loses purpose, and that's meaning that your product has lost its purpose. Now, trade name is not important. Product quality is important for me. If some product comes from a footpath also and it works for me good, I think that is better than product that is delivered by international organization. Because I'm interested in product, I'm not interested in name of an organization. And that should be my mindset. If I can change my mindset, I think we can have better quality. What happens nowadays is that whatever I got information from people in market economy, that companies are least bothered about quality, frankly speaking. They say we give quality, if this doesn't work, you have warranty and we will repair it. Means quality has been replaced by system of repairs or system of warranties. Means quality has got freedom now. Means they can say, okay, it's a warranty, we'll take care of that. The question is not, it doesn't mean that it's warranty. Warranty, that's a safety cover. But that is not often cover, that's not general cover. In name of warranty or guarantee or maintenance, you cannot run away from responsibility. But every company runs away from responsibility. Even legal protection, it is a kind of legal protection, you can say. I give you legal protection, what else you want? It happens. And it's another way to make money, really speaking. In this world, first is you buy something, means you have some warranty, 1 year, 2 year, whatever. And after there's another warranty, paid warranty, though it's also paid in the beginning, you charge money of warranties. There's another warranty, it's called AMC, called annual maintenance contract or biannual maintenance contract or whatever be conditions between customer and organization, and you have to pay for that. Ultimately, your money goes out to that person, that company who deliver you that. This means that company has continuation of business. That original seller continues its business not in name of sales but in name of sales of services. And you are bound to pay, okay, I have got maintenance, means it may be sometimes 25% of original cost per year. It sometimes may be double, half. You have to pay ultimately, and they calculate in such a way that in coming 5 years you have to pay another cost, because equivalent to original cost. Indirectly means short term reduction in cost has augmented their profit in long term. We have to get this point. And we feel proud, I'm tension free. I have no stress on this account, why should I worry? I'm tension free. It will be repaired, but you have paid for that. Okay, you can pay, you afford, but everybody cannot. Now I give an example. I have many AMCs for whatever product we have, and we have to do it every time. You have to pay for this, and sometimes you have to pay a lot. Now, so that means I did not explain that. I'm not arguing on that. You have to pay, and that's you can say concluding answer. You are forced to pay indirectly, and if you don't pay, you have to get repaired these items locally, and which is also a question of risk, and I ultimately have to pay. My question is, quality has been converted to business rather than to standard. And I can simply understand or can simply equate this failure equal to failure of quality system. It can be ISO 9000 or it can be 14, whatever system it is. I least bother about that as far as quality is not issued. You may have whatever number of certificates from whatever third parties, but if you can't produce quality, all these are useless. All this certification is useless. I have simply say that because you don't give quality, and that's why I'm very concerned. This title is quality and coordination, and because we are not talking small products here, we're talking, we can say, voluminous products. We're talking of builders, we're talking of constructors, we are talking of promotions, and we are talking of manufacturing, we are talking of whatever else. We are quantum of work is heavy, long-term working and long-term use. In construction world, we have to spend money massively, immense money. Sometimes the whole life savings go to construction units you have to buy, and that's very important point, you can say. And that's why I'm referring all this to construction, manufacturing products, because construction is not independent of manufacturing. In construction world, even in civil construction, we have to use mechanical means. We have to use machines also on projects. We have to use electrical items. We have to use plumbing items. Indirectly or indirectly, these are all related to construction. You have to buy sanitary wares. You have to buy pipelines. You have to buy electrical appliances. You have to buy electrical system, wiring systems. You have to buy conduits, switch pans, and you can say fittings, and then switch panels and distribution boards, wires, cables, and you have to buy HVAC plants, mechanical machine plants, chillers, package units, air handling units, ducting work, and you have to buy pumps. You have to buy so much lifts, elevators, how can say, and you can have to buy your equipment such as kitchen equipment, so many equipments, and you have to buy security equipments, you have to buy CCTV. Means in construction, though it's only very small part percentage wise, which cost of construction is not so much, maybe 25 to 30%, 35%. Maximum major portion of that goes to all these additional items which serve building directly. You cannot defy that fact. If your building is not well serviced, it's not well air conditioned, or active applied, you cannot say building subs, you can't use that. Plumbing supply, can't use. The water supply is significant, drainage is significant, and these comfortable services like air conditioning and vertical movement through elevators, horizontal movement likewise. And we can say these are very, very important factors in life. So when I refer to construction, it's very important to say it's not civil construction alone. It's allied construction along with civil construction. We can say it's a coordinated construction. If your building has to serve in all respects, maybe industrial building or non-industrial building or institutional buildings or whatever it is, these services weigh a lot. If these services don't work properly, your building is said to be not functioning well. Civil wise, it's okay, it's just, but function wise, getting full benefit of this, and that's where quality comes into play. You cannot isolate quality just by keeping, okay, I'm interested in concrete. No, I'm not saying that. Of course, timings are different, means use of this product cannot be equal to life of building. There will be replacements later on. Maybe I say my AC unit say works only 5 years. After that, I have to change it, or I can replace that. That's another point. But replacement of non-civil engineering products can be done many times throughout life of that structure. It's very important point to understand, means we have to give, after all, expenses. We have to see expenses of these items. Really, you have to buy system itself. If you calculate system, sometimes HVAC work costs about 20%, maybe more, and electrical may primarily cost about 20% or 15%. And of course, it depends on what sort of appliances you use in whatever discipline, whatever sort of sanitary units you use, what sort of fittings you used, what sort of whatever utensils, appliance, units you use. Every unit has got some quality system, quality requirement, and it doesn't work. It's a question of question of quality failure. That's why I'm interested in this very primitively, very importantly. We cannot run away from that. I can see that we have to understand this point very well. And now I go to next file, and that's I'll come back to this. Let me see now how we talk of this coordination, and that's coordination engineering. It's a very important one. Coordination engineering project qualification. Now see, that is for reliable quality engineering works deliveries. For reliable quality engineering works deliveries block off. Coordination engineering is a must. You know that coordination engineering is a must, and that's the important point to see that coordination engineering is a must. And let us see how to blow it. Let us keep this level, and I like to then says for reliable quality engineering works deliveries. Coordination engineering is a must. And this coordination, I am calling it coordination engineering because without coordination engineering is a coordination actually. And coordination engineering, you coordinate something is technical coordination. It's not liaison, I can say. Coordination is technical generally. Though it can be called non-technical also, but in real world, in engineering world, it is technical engineering coordination, where in every link, in every attempt, linking interdisciplines means each discipline is technical. So it is a kind of link. I'm not saying hyperlink, it's kind of link, physical link, or you can say information link, that we have to connect these two. And I cannot solely leave it to software like BIM. Software is software, and I'm talking not software, I'm talking of real world, and that's, you can say, I'm talking of something that is that adds to, that cooperates with, that that you can say contributes or collaborates. Like persons collaborate, these disciplines should also collaborate if these are alive. And engineering disciplines means these are alive, these must work alive. So what title, let's say subtitle is for reliable quality engineering works deliveries. Reliable quality engineering work deliveries, because coordination engineering is a must. Because without coordination engineering, we cannot get quality engineering done. It's a must. And says the professional engineering note is this, which I'm showing to you. Every time improve it to an extent possible. And it's for public and for all. And must have public must have awareness about this issue. If people do not care about this, who would care? Who is that? Who would care? So, what I say, missing coordination means missing good engineering. Missing coordination. If you don't do coordination, you cannot get good engineering. That is my claim, I can say, because if you don't understand what to coordinate with, maybe something goes on and you don't provide that information is not affected, and you say my work is done. It's not possible. That's why I can say communication is a network which can be used for this coordination, and coordination is a system which can be used for good work. So you can say communication, coordination, and good work. You can relate like that. Communication is a system through which you can pass information, and the information must be available. And that should be available. It's available in somewhere in discipline engineering or related discipline. That has to be worked out, unearthed or found out, and then that should be transmitted through communication network to a person or a conjunct where information is put in. As we said just now, conjunctor, coordinate conjunctor. Communication reaches the conjunctor, and then every information is available there, that is viewed, studied, and whatever outcome comes technically, engineering wise requirement, that outcome is used in work. So communication support for reliable coordination, and that is where I say important part, and that's what I say long back I did. in my projects. For example, this is one I every time show you. I start with this is very small building with a group of 5 or 6 or 7 buildings, and it was long back. So at that time, in my young age, I was all called to coordinate. Means you are coordinator, you are manager of this, and you have to do a lot of coordination was done on this. And particularly, I'm saying RCC work, structural work requires coordination. And this you can say is located in Amsalal, Qatar, boys public schools. It had one assembly hall, 14 classrooms, lecture hall, physics and chemistry laboratories, workshops, worship areas, mosque, substations, electrical one, external works, sports courts, surfacings, and good concrete work in that. Then we have other. This is in Iraq, Baghdad, Dar Al Thawra Press Complex. This was also good work. I did not write any details of this. I'll write later on. And this is also a big plant, construction of big plant in remote UAE. That's the deserts of UAE. It's called. A lot of work was done there for coordination, and I was involved on one behalf on one contracting company. And really, I did not know that it would have that much activity, but it had a lot of work on coordination. You can say I have been busy there full time for about 2 to 3 years on this coordination work, and I could learn a lot of information from there how coordination is done. Miscellaneous, like not discipline coordination alone, all types of coordination, technical of all disciplines, civil, construction, structural, mechanical, electrical, surveying, whatever else you can say. A kind of job learning, you can say. I could learn a lot from this, which I could not learn, even my university could not teach me. And whatever projects I did till this project was there, I could not get that information. And it was a good platform for me to make my career. So career is not important here, but it's learning. Still, I remember, and I don't think there may be a change in that coordination. Of course, there may be some software change, but even I think software won't help here, because software cannot. Same process area of that plant. It is a lot of work was done in this, and I worked here as if a person as if I'm responsible directly for that. And that's true as well. Now signals have fallen again. Video and audio have become 0 0. That's why I claim quality is an issue. You don't understand, and we have to be very serious about this. Now we'll talk of this later on. Now I'm just trying to show you this product, and I want to discuss something later on. I'll talk each and every one. I'll talk about each and every one of this. Now I'm going to text of this page. Text of this page. That's a very important part. I also got some plates. I'm calling these projects photographs as plates. These images as plates, and we have to go to this LNG plant in Qatar, Islafan, and here is. I'm going to coordination engineering is a must on every project. That's you can say kind of title. Coordination engineering is defined here. Every day we define something. We confer on this as I think coordination has to start in subject form, and we have our own forms. You can have your own forms, means you have to learn. I have to disseminate this information to people based on our experience. I would say I'm not only experienced person. There are many experienced persons everywhere in all countries, and that experience should be shared by those, should be given to those who have not been too long experience in engineering. But it's not happening. I don't find that, particularly in the engineering world. It's civil engineers, electrical, mechanical engineers. There are a lot of coordination work done in field, but it's not given to those aspirants who have that. We did not have in our time that facility, but now facilities are available. People can spend a lot of time on talks and chatting, but they don't want to spend time on learning. And learning is very important. It can't be done in fast track. It has to be done step by step, and that learning is really, it can't be done because you have to grasp information. You cannot just get it in shortcut. You have to experience it. And I think just the designs are not enough. Designing is not enough. Understanding is also very important. And if one has got clear or explicit understanding, one can do better design, or one can do better work in construction or manufacturing or whatever. So we have to understand meaning of coordination first, and that meaning only can tell us what we have to do, what we have to do. And that's really, to be very frank, very interesting as far as coordination can be defined or it can be understood. There is no systematic definition. There is no existence as such. We can chart out ourselves what should be definition of that. And definition is required not for us. We know what is coordination. It is required to explain to someone what we are debating, what we are, we can say, conferring, what is behind this, with dissemination of behind this 1 point seminar, you may say. And that's understandable. Means it doesn't matter what sort of definition that, what structure of definition is. We have to understand purpose, and in every statement we say what is scope of this, or what is purpose of this, what's objective behind this statement or behind this talk. And that purpose should be known to viewers, to audience. What are you doing about it? Can be in explanatory form, it can be in sentence form, or it can be in title form. Whatever you can say, that is, and that's important. And coordination is that title, you may say, because coordination is you cannot throw it away. You cannot trash requirement of coordination. That requirement is a must. Cannot be this. It cannot be. I don't need this. I can't do without that. It cannot be said, to be very frank. It's a really very important matter. I have to say. Design coordination. They say design, construction, controls are very absolutely interrelated. Let me put on battery, please. Just a minute. I usually write sometimes again and again, so that I can talk to you again and again. And this issue is coordination, and I think it's a very, very important issue for all, not only for engineers but for everybody, because coordination engineering is something not defined. It's some subject not available. It's not written anywhere. It's done, but engineers are not clear about this. They may say, I coordinated, but they do not know what coordinated. Talking to someone is not coordination. Raising queries is also a part of coordination, but it's not complete coordination. Means engineering is analytical. We have many analysis for everything, but it should also be converted to system. System cannot be developed. We have to understand system. What is system? If we want to understand coordination or conjunct, many coordinates are there in system. Just as I refer to body, is referred to machines. It's complete system. There will be many systems in a body. Many systems. Our whole body is a system. And there may be organs themselves. Organ is a system itself. Brain system, heart system, kidney system, leg system. These have their own functions, but there's a complete link, and that's what we have to understand. We can't design body, but we design machines. We design buildings. We design the structure. We design everything that we can for science and engineering. And that system It's very important. If you don't recognize system, you don't understand system. For example, we're talking on now, it's through computer, it's through network, but it is basically computer system. It may be intranet or internet, it may be net, but what's usefully done here? It is first physical system. It has, you can say, communication system. Coordination system does not exist like that, but information do. There may be many systems connected in every network. Those systems are connected. They cannot work themselves. You have to analyze those or reach that system yourself and then study that. And if you find some information on that, just like a search from this Google, you say search. Google is a system, it's an engine, search engine system it is. Engine is there, no, it's not physical engine, but it has so much potential that it can get you somewhere. You can travel through Google and find information. That's what system is. It's for everyone, means you have to understand everybody uses that. But this case, we search it, we don't think how to search it. And that's where point lies in. Actually, you try to coordinate something available for you. And you got that. That is what's coordination, but you do not know its coordination, it automatically works. Here, system coordinates for you. So we say, but it cannot do more than that. Because your question, your command was to know about this, how many such information is available, and that's search. You just give a command, you write something on Google and say search it. You wanted to know that kind of terminology, wherever it is, show me. So that is very ordinary coordination, but it happens you coordinated the machine. You coordinated information, and that information came to you. So that's why I say, when I say designs, construction, controls are very absolutely interrelated, and that is true. It is true. We cannot defy this fact. And that is, coordination engineering says designs, construction and controls are very absolutely interrelated. Designs, construction and controls are very absolutely interrelated. Required sections for what? For achieving from successful start or commencement to completion of a project, which all must be applicable throughout project stages, with all works be smoothly affected. Design, construction and controls are very absolutely interrelated. Requirements or required sections for achieving from successful start to completion of a project, which all must be applicable throughout project stages, with all works be smoothly affected. Got it? This is indirect definition. It is related to links or to thread, designs, construction and controls, without which we cannot reach anywhere. These sections or stages are initial conceptual designs, designing for works execution purposes, procedure implementations about how to chart out construction of designed project works. Project construction works currency decision. I'm saying project construction work currency. Here currency means duration of that project. duration of construction or duration of manufacturing or duration of processing or whatever is that. It's construction works currency duration decision and works carrying out decisions and works carrying out. We have to do works carrying out, testing involved, and you can say completion and commissioning and launching. Commissioning and launching use of project, where at or when project title terminates. When project title terminates, we have to terminate project. We cannot keep it open. When project title terminates, renaming that title, operation or occupation in place of project. Try to analyze this paragraph. It's very collaborative in itself. These sections or stages are initial conceptual, You all right? Oh yeah. These sections or stages are initial conceptual designs, designing for works execution purposes, procedure implementation about how to chart out construction of designed project works, project construction works, currency decision and works carrying out, testing, completion and commissioning, and launching use of project when project title terminates. Renaming that title, operation or occupation in place of project. Designs may be considered oversafe or optimum, but real construction involves actual expenses, contract time, financial liabilities and buildings, professional reputation, which all must be cared about of sincerely of both stakeholders as such owner and engineer designer at this stage, because at that time contractor is not known, other partners are not known, or stakeholders, these two are absolute one, and that is owner and engineer or designer at this stage, because it is at that stage only no project work has been decided, only project is designed. It shall go on to construction later on, but here is this requirement, and it should be certainly a motto, or you can say a certain motto, an objective of an organization to apply good controls on project so as to keep in line or online on schedule planning being an actual part of controls. So we can say there can be so many impacts by that. It can be control includes progress, cost escalation, time, budget, quality requirement assurance, coordination engineering, as well as total engineering and safety risk covering and delays recoveries. There's so much we already already have explained that. I'm just trying to go further on this, and we will come back already because there's so many changes all the time. And there is again I say BIM, but I'm not still sure because I'm talking of detailed coordination. We are not talking of coordination at design stage. I can say BIM may help at design stage to some extent, and that too if your three-dimensional sketch or three-dimensional production or products are available, but everyone cannot afford for that, and I don't think that's very relevant. So I'm not supporting at this moment until I experience it. But important point is reality. Reality and design coordination is one part. Design coordination is very important, I would say. I would say designers should understand that coordination as design time is very helpful, but practical difficulties do exist. Yes, you can coordinate designs, you can coordinate in disciplines, you can coordinate there, no problem. You can say I tried to find clashes, I couldn't get that. Or you may say you may coordinate systems only, not details. And that's what design coordination says. But one point is very clear that you cannot have detailed run there because you do not know about shop drawings, about working drawings, about what inventories details do and how it will work. You do not know which mechanism is going to be used, which product is going to be used, and there should be issues of compatibilities which you do not know information about that at that stage. So you may say it is just the part coordination, part coordination or fitness coordination, not functional coordination, not performing coordination, and that point we have to consider here. So this is just, you can say, informative coordination at design stage, but it should be done. And I think it's done best without software because you cannot feed in information correctly. Since you may say that this is only line work coordination, it's only isometric coordination, it's not material fitness coordination. You're not sure of any sizes, you're not sure of any potential of this, you show any input, and we can say that this is permanent or this is correct. We cannot say that. Yes, it can give you line work coordination that design coordination is something you can say that my structure should not cause any problem to machines or machines should not cause any problem to this and that. But in fact, in construction, it's not worth. It's not worth. Let's see what about this, I'm not talking of cost, I'm saying. In a more specific case sense, design coordination can refer to actual process of ensuring that design solutions can be integrated in particular mechanical, electrical, and plumbing designs, and maybe call it, which has all these disciplines permeate through entire building, and that's true. And I think it's very much detailed study. If you involve mechanical, electrical, and plumbing issues and other services issues together, it's very detailed coordination requirement depending on size of building or what you can say what systems are involved in, and depends on what structure is, what is type of building. Sometimes services are not included, and generally these are included. and particularly where RCC is involved, concrete is involved, which is different material which cannot be removed once it is done. And if you have to replace it, it costs a lot. It costs money, it costs time, and there's nothing that it helps in that way due to failure in coordination and doing work. In particular, I where concrete is involved, coordination is involved. Otherwise, services coordination is involved. That point we have to understand. So there are many types of buildings we use: ordinary houses, ordinary multi-stories. Even I'm saying ordinary but multi-story, or towers, or you can say different types of structures. Every structure has its own requirements of coordination at some level. It's not only that services we are talking of, we're talking of architectural and structural coordination itself. And that's also very important. You cannot simply say services comes later, but services come later. Now question is coordination of architectural structure. You can say birth coordination, you can say. I can say birth coordination. I simply can say indirectly that architecture and structure are siblings of something to be done. We say sibling here, siblings come here, and that parent are not seen. Parent is in mind. Parents are in mind. Vision is in mind. What we have to produce, and that producer is in mind. And the producer says that use my siblings, it help you. And these siblings should talk to each other. Architecture cannot work independently, as well as structural engineer cannot work independently, because requirements of both have to satisfy each other. Architectural requirements to be fulfilled by structural requirements, structural works, and vice versa. And other services have to support both. That's an important point. Now, for this purpose, engineers have to understand what sort of categories, how many categories of drawings you have to be ready with. You must have a list of drawings. So who will give you a list of drawing? Nobody shall give you a list of drawing. You have to classify your own list based on your conception, based on requirement, based on what you want to do. We have to do that. Patch, or even say kind of covering, no permanence in that. It's not that stays. Now we are if you say in fact it's only stone that we use for major materials in construction. We say stone or stone aggregate, or we can say coarse aggregate. We can also say dust or Stone dust, that's also called a kind of fine aggregate, or we can send river sand or pit sand. We used long back, and we have to then think of what sort of, from where do these come, these materials, stone aggregate or stone chips or dust or sand, from where do these items come, from where do water comes, and waters come from where, and we have to think that way. And I can say in this case it's nature that helps us. If nature does not help, we cannot do anything. We have no independence of nature, we have to depend on it, because we deal with all materials, and engineering is a concept, but without materials engineering has no meaning. Engineering utilizes this material to define requirements. It thinks on that. It tells us, experiment tells us what is to be done, what should not be done. That's where we can say coordination works. We must have an understanding first. And I would simply say engineering is not mark based competition, it's achievement based competition. If somebody says, I have so many degrees in engineering, and if you raise a question, what percentage of those degrees, other than basics degree like BE, what did they get, what contribution they have got to world, or what involved in that competition, you will not find suitable answers. That's why I say engineering has role in work rather than in theory. Theory is a part of work, it supports, it analyzes, it helps. If there's no questions, no numericals, we cannot do anything. We have to get understanding, we have to understand. It says, for example, services. It says services, electromechanical and plumbing, these are very primitive services. Now many more services have come. And those also are respective services, and they have to take care of this. And in engineering, if we have coordination, understanding, which we don't have, in engineering itself we should demonstrate that we can't measure in terms of marks you receive. We receive your ability in terms of how do you study, how do you want to go, what knowledge do you want to gain? Is it really engineering you want to study? This means coordination is part of that. In a more specific sense, design coordination can refer to actual process of ensuring that design solutions can be integrated in particular mechanical, electrical, and plumbing designs, which as all these disciplines permeate through. And if you find more important definitions of this, I can't say, but I have typed many times. And MEP coordination, let me say MEP coordination. If I want to search that one, I don't think I will get much response, but let me see. Says MEP coordination, everything you know to know. And this is by BIM, not interested in BIM, I go somewhere else. This is typical stage MEP coordination. CAD room, MEP coordination process is aimed at ensuring that architectural design of building doesn't interfere with layout of this. Okay, let us 21, let me see what it says, is dcadroom.com. MEP coordination designs buildings, Wikipedia. Let's start with Wikipedia first. What it says, maybe something goes on now. Let's see. Wiki says something. Let me read what it is. I will not show you because why to waste time. And Wiki says, and that's is the content here in MEP coordination. Wikipedia with the introduction. The introduction says, if your building design philosophy is first time right, and you firmly believe in prevention is better than cure, in that case you appreciate that value that BIM based MEP, building information modeling, mechanical, electrical and plumbing coordination, also known as design collaboration. Got my point? I'm just reading from that. This is a design building links.co.uk MEP coordination defined here. Just for your information, it says if you are building design philosophy, if you're building design philosophy, I'll try to get more information on this. It's first time right, and you firmly believe in prevention. That BIM based MEP building article I'm not going to say. A traditional approach, what is that? For many centuries, the basis of architectural projects were 2D drawings, plans, sections, elevations, and those designs. It is hard to find out interference. Traditionally, MEP coordination is conducted through a sequential comparison overlay process. And in this process, functional design is prepared by a consulting engineer, while detailed design for such each trade is developed by specialist contractors. Interested in that, what I say is let me see what design philosophy says. That would be important. I'm not interested in BIM advertisement. So design philosophy says something. Let me see what it says. Design methodology, and this has got here evolved buildings first evolved from basic human need for shelter, security, worship, protection from animals and other tribes, and so on. This is a philosophy. Let's see now way that these needs are satisfied using available material spaces and skills give rise to wide range of building techniques. Through maintenance, we can say, through maintenance, improvement and personalization of these early structures, decoration was first introduced and buildings gradually became more than just functional shelters. This gave the light, showed power, and exhibited wealth. Building design. Wealth building design became more than a simple problem solving exercise. Now, however, it is remarkably difficult to describe what building design process actually is. Whilst it is relatively easy to explain it from a contractual and technical perspective. Contractual and technical perspective as a series of stages through which level of detail increases, and it's comparatively straightforward to describe output of design in terms of drawings, styles, typologies, or components. Creative process itself remains elusive. How does design itself emerge? What are inspirations? What are thoughts, processes that move design from a blank piece of paper or an empty a computer screen to a completed design that a contractor can build? In what extent is process creative? There is an underlying mistrust of theories. There is an underlying mistrust of theories that attempt to describe creative process and practice rarely seems to reflect academic descriptions, while tend to explain that academics think should be happening rather than what designers are actually doing. Indeed, approach that designers say they take to design is often very different from what they actually do. Learning design is largely through grid-based critic friend, studio practice, and similarly on projects design when constraints are considered, options assessed, and concepts developed might be considered creative. This can be a relatively small part of a project which is preceded by business planning and justification, brief development and feasibility studies, and is followed by specification, quantity survey, how design is influencing cost and budget, suppliers and manufacturers. Likewise, we may say stakeholders. Stakeholders, designers are rarely in absolute creative control of direction that is taken for design of a building projects. Usually involve multi-stakeholders often with their own, often conflicting and sometimes contradictory views about designs. And clients impose constraints such as budget, program, brand, and so on. Specialist stakeholders groups may be set up to ensure that all voices are heard. Clients' understandable attempts to define what expect from design team can actually stifle creative process. It's natural for clients to try to express requirements to a great level of detail in order to maximize likelihood that designers satisfy their needs. However, they can prejudice outcome before constraints and opportunities have been properly assessed, limiting creativity and preventing innovation. Defining problem and developing solution should go hand in hand. For this reason, procurement processes have been developed such as those recommended by government that focus on defining required outputs rather than facilities. At most basic, you can say level design can be seen as an iterative process where at each iteration there are inputs, there is a design process, and then there are outputs. At the end of each iteration, outputs are reviewed and then the process begins again. Iteration takes effects at a number of different levels. Personal process at level of individual designer, practice level, design theme, project theme, consideration of program, cost, safety, risk, buildability, and so on. At level of client, all right. So there are so many, you can say, you cannot go through all this in one go. Just the same methodology you have to understand. So I say we can read it long back, a long way. What are involvements in this, you can say, if you take in this case, there's a list of inputs. We say inputs to design process are many, varied, often competing and sometimes conflicting, extending well beyond requirements set out in client brief. And there's a range of that, we can say, range of that, we have to understand that range as well. Let's say client briefs an existing brand, building type, budget, time, location, climate, landscape, context, history and urban fabric, accommodation, statutory requirement, accessibility, safety, sustainability, comfort, durability, flexibility, availability of reassurance, buildability or learning by doing that could not be described. However, it's criticized as being unsatisfactorily vague, particularly as buildings have become more complex, building types are evolving faster, a larger number of people are involved. Design managers have emerged, and there is a requirement for greater accountability. Solving components of problem and then composing these solutions back into whole more recently. Alright, now we can say it can be sequences that a more detailed description might propose a process of definition, preparation, incubation, creation, evaluation, implementation. But it's not necessary. However, design is rarely carried out in such a conscious system, discrete linear way, and not all ideas emerge as a result of analysis. Sorry. Complex to rationalize and common patterns become more difficult to identify. Not all design problems are same. This may be well defined problem or poorly defined. Design may be directed by client or undirected. It may tackle a whole problem or a single component. It may require creativity or it may not. Now, method of assessment also influence approach. For example, design competition may produce a different result than traditional appointment. For same brief, a client that adopts a quantitative approach to assess the design proposals may elicit a different solution from one that adopts a qualitative approach. Design and will can refer to can refer to design coordination, can refer to, you can say, actual process of ensuring that design solutions can be integrated in particular mechanical, electrical, and plumbing designs, which is just all these disciplines permeating through cultural building are frequently source of coordination all there, and one has to be very serious about that. A complete complexity of science, where a patient is he actually, if you consider a hospital unit, what is that? It's not room, it's not something else. Hospital means where patient can be treated. We have to keep that point in mind. Use of that hospital is patient. Patient is object there. If you consider that way, not medical way, otherwise we have to consider use way. Just like we say, whatever building we use, we make a unit as such. We have to refer to initial requirement. Then, for example, a school, if you design, we have to take into consideration how many students can use that school. So student is requirement, and student means what level of a student. Same way, we can use anything. You can say, for example, you design some theater. You have to think unit is audience there. Or you can design home. You can say how many occupants you shall use this. So occupant is a requirement there. We have to see who's user, who is ultimate user of your work, and that should bring something to understanding. Now I'm talking of hospital. Let's say how many beds are there, what sort of bed, where shall patient stay, in ward or in ward ordinary patient would stay. So what should be facilities in ward, what medical facilities, what are other non-medical facilities. First question is medical facilities. Of course, patients are to be examined all time. A watch has to be kept on them, observations to be kept on them, and frequent, parameters are to be fulfilled, like, for example, temperatures, blood pressures, or whatever is required medically. How these services can be given, and which air, fresh air they should breathe, air conditioned air or some other air, status of ventilation, status of air conditioning, and station of medical gases which are required, oxygen gas or whatever else, ventilators are required. Like you can say, in the monitoring system for exposing means how to know about. So that everybody should know means when it tests to see, for example, you read X-rays or something else, or whatever technologies are available these days, it's all to be considered. Chemography for cancer patient or whatever else, or you can ultrasound, other tests. There are so many tests are applicable, but these are not done in patient room. In patient room, these medical gases are important. Call audio, nurse call center, and likewise many other patients. Facilities are written. This is we have to understand or get input from doctors, from medicos. What is requirement? What's best one? How should patient? How many types of patients should you have to? Common room or special rooms, likewise retirement rooms, or that way you may say every patient ward or room must be equipped with all such services, and this causes coordination problem, technical problem, because no incompatibility is allowed. No, negative or you can say non-working interfaces are required. Interface means properties, in first functions interface. So we have to say that in hospital, no service is left that cannot be used. Every service is required. You can say electrical, mechanical, or plumbing, or these gas services, or other services, and whatever is left, that service is required. Architectural service, of course, is very important. Structure is a structure without which you cannot imagine anything. So we have to consider this way. Every use building, and this is hospital requirement. There can be some other requirement. There can be some market, you can say some major market, major shopping center. You have to involve. It depends. School, college, university, or culture center, community center. Which way you are going to use that, and accordingly, provisions are made in architecture or otherwise, and we have to decide that. And really, that's the important part. And this is a kind of use analysis, you can say. Then can be structural analysis after that. There can be load analysis as part of structural analysis. Means we have to get this point, and this all understanding is also part of coordination as well as technical requirements. So we may say use very easily. This is particularly true for complex buildings such as hospitals, where there may be a great number of building services that are required to be installed in relatively confined spaces. And this is really very, very true. And depending on size of beds, the number of beds, this may vary, but we have to take in broad sense here. Hospital services are specific. It's specific for newers, but once you have experience, this won't be specific. Sometimes problem comes into engineering world and construction world that we are not serious. That's unfortunate. Engineers should be serious. Serious means should know what is sequence. Serious doesn't mean that you have to fight or you have to be serious by face. Information package is important. You have to keep that track. What information is, what level you have to make this information and maintain this information. And to be very frank, that's the important one. And we can't do that. We can say that we run away from our responsibility. And we have no right to run away from responsibility, and that is particularly very true. There may be many, many clashes in every building. That clashes may be among services. And there may be certain clashes while we relate architectural requirement to structural provision, because architecture is a requirement by structure is a provision. We have to get this difference. What architectural engineering requires. I'm not saying architect, I'm saying architectural engineering requires. There is confusion people about architecture engineering. Architecture engineering, you can say, is applied architecture. Means it's not imaginative alone. It includes in some logics and requirements, and it tries to occupy its position in a very sequential way, very logical way. We have to be very serious about this. How does it work? And that's what we say. And to fulfill that requirement, we have to be very specific. Architectural requirements exist everywhere, in every structure, in every design. And that architectural requirement is basics one, and the structure has to deliver it in practical shape. And therefore you can say structure is a container of this architectural requirement. And structure is not a container alone, it's a car, it's a vehicle. It's a vehicle forever. You cannot relieve this vehicle. No architectural requirement can relieve vehicle. And even if requirement is readjusted in future, it's up to structure whether or not it accepts that. We can say if structure denies that, I don't accept your readjustment, in that case you can't do anything, because the domination of structure remains there. Architectural requirement or people's requirement, you can say. And structures are important because it's the responsibility of structure to satisfy requirement. And if structure cannot do that, then it's no meaning at all. And that's why I say these two disciplines, architectural engineering and structural engineering, are siblings. Like they can't fight. Even if they fight, there can be no disconnection among relations. I'm saying these relations. And that's why saying title itself means methods of construction, designs, claims, organizations, and which organization is talking of, which claims we are talking of. Claims of disputes on contracts, disputes on various other talk, and that will come back. We're talking just to explain. My explanation is so wide, so vast. I keep on explaining my mind about coordination. And I did coordination and learned from that, not from some professor, not from some university. And my field has been my university since beginning. I've been considering engineering construction field as my university. Something people like design is my field, okay. But my field has been coordination engineering. I usually call it engineering in general, short term. Engineering also got many meanings. We have to, depending on situation, we have to understand what sort of engineering is that. For example, by going to college, studying engineering, I study engineering, stage, learning stage. You can't call it engineering. Engineering means some knowledge is applied, some technique is applied, that's called engineering. And it's not applied, it can't be even called technology. We should be very clear about that. So coordination is that world where we can learn and we can teach. And coordination means conceptual clearance. If you have concept of how this material is used, you can do that. Means first you should know what's your requirement. If that requirement should be complied with, what you have to do, that's the point here. So why you see there may be clashes. Clashes are natural, and those clashes means clashes imaginary. Estimated clashes, assessed clashes. It would happen like this. And that's, you can say, advanced mind work. Advanced mind work. Some people, when clashes appear, they think of, and they try to cover up those. That's not right. That's not a professional way. We have to be very serious about that. That's not a professional way. We have to be really serious about in this talk, what I'm talking of. If I'm not serious, we cannot do anything else. We can say, as for example, we say clashes may be hard clash or soft clash, leave it aside. I don't care for that. Clashes are clashes which have to be repaired or which have to be cleared. You can say there can be whatever sort of cracks. And sometimes we don't know what we are doing and we do that. It happens because of lack of experience. And we doesn't have time to study that, that's not the point. We can leave it behind, we can make mistakes in coordination. That mistake is not acceptable, it debits your value. You can say there are a number of procedures that can be adopted and appointments made to help minimize choice, minimize clashes, and ensure proper coordination is conducted. Typically, where there exists a multidisciplinary design team, lead designer, okay, it's whatever it is, that's okay, fine. Lead designer should be there to lead everybody or to find solutions. We have to say this role includes integrating different aspects of design. This role, lead designer, you can say, role is integrating different aspects of design and respective interfaces into overall design. Our design, you can say, amongst other requirements, this may involve ensuring collaborative practices are adopted. To make sure that collaborative practices are adopted. Coordinating policy or coordinating quality control systems is also very important part when we talk of disciplines. There's adopting standard materials about the conducting preparation. This is adopting standard methods and procedures, and coordinating preparation and so we can hereby say ensuring collaborative practices are adopted, coordinating quality control systems, and adopting standard methods and procedures, coordinating preparation and issue of production information to contractors and suppliers, reviewing designs prepared by contractors and suppliers, where there are a number of different specialists, contractors or suppliers in involved in later stages of designs, in particular during technical design stage. A design coordinator may be appointed to oversee coordination and integration of those designs. In some cases, a design manager may be appointed. That's a different way how to handle this. Well, I should say, and I'm not going to say in history, only history something. Say somebody says about this and that. We go further on this. Now we come to our own deliberations, and which are very important from every point. Last time also we discussed that, when I keep on discussing every time. Because thinking changes also, we cannot grasp everything. Sometimes we have that person where you can talk same thing in different ways, and each way gives you something, and that's also a requirement, a possible fruitful requirement which cannot deny, it's fact. That is the temperature moment, because I'm feeling a little cold, and it's an important one. I want to keep eye on temperature because I'm feeling a little cold, just like yesterday. It's 13 degrees morning, now it's 13 degrees south. I think it's 14 degrees, 13 degrees. That's the dew point is how much, dew point. Dew point is 8 degrees, so it's come down 8 degrees now. And I think it's that 44 internal humidity and 72 humidity. And so it is 44% ideal humidity, 72% humidity, and dew point is 8 degree, and that is causing problem, I think. So you can say I have to be somewhere 8, and I should be say very serious with this issue of I'm feeling something in my eyes with the cold. Well, it's just the expression of current state. No, we have to deliberate everything, deliberation of thoughts. Maybe I'm not showing you everything, but engineering is a world. Engineering is a world we have to define ourselves rather than somebody else should define us. You can define your way, your profession with experience. Because experience is a teacher, I can say. It's something that you can't regularly define that. Really speaking, it's very, very difficult sometimes to understand what's coordination. It's very, very important requirement. What to discuss, what not to discuss, what to do, what not to do. And that's why I say coordination has to be understood first. Some people understand, some do not, and some people are not even interested to know that. See, I understand first before going to understand coordination. We have to understand engineering. After all, what does engineering mean? There's no legal definition of this. I don't need legal definition. I need professional definition. I require why this engineering helps us. We have to consider very seriously. Means what is engineering? If we can understand engineering, we can understand coordination. Can someone ask this? I know I wouldn't answer that. No one. What is engineering? What is engineering? Can someone decide? Let us see what definition on this search say. Let us see what is engineering. What is engineering? What is engineering? Let's define. Says engineering is application of science and maths. Well, this is very much article definition. This engineering's application of science and maths to solve problems. While scientists and inventors come up with innovations, and that's engineering. It says engineering is the use of scientific principles to design and build machines, structures, and other items. And building, so it's that. So you may say that's engineering, right? Use of scientific principles. What's engineering is that. Let us see open Wikipedia. I think it's better to be there on Wikipedia and see what it says in the long 2 lines. To understand better, it says engineering is use of scientific principles to design and build machines, structures, and items. Items like including bridges, tunnels, roads, vehicles, and buildings. This discipline of engineering encompasses a broad range of more specialized fields of engineering, each with a more specific emphasis on particular areas of applied mathematics, applied science, and types of applications. It also says in glossy terms, term engineering is derived from Latin. It derived from Latin as a term. Now it says that discipline of engineering. Engineering is a result of scientific principles to design, build machines, structures, and other items, including bridges, tunnels, roads, vehicles, and buildings. Discipline of engineering encompasses a broad range of more specialized fields of engineering, each with a more specific emphasis on particular areas of applied mathematics, applied science, and types of applications. Now, actually, it's something. I mean, if you go to history, you'll find engineering has existed since ancient times. Since when humans devised inventions such as a wedge, lever, okay, leave it behind. Now, ancient era I'm not interested in. This era we're interested in. We are saying that something that should be what we understand. Leave it in the Middle Ages. Now, modern era I'm talking. In modern era we're talking, and that's current situation. Science of classical mechanics, you can say. Science of classical mechanics, sometimes called Newtonian mechanics. Newtonian science of classical mechanics, sometimes called Newtonian mechanics, formed scientific best. You may say science of classical mechanics, sometimes called Newtonian mechanics, formed scientific basis of much of modern engineering. With rise of engineering as a profession in 18th century, term became more narrowly applied to fields in which mathematics and science have applied to these ends. Similarly, in addition to military and civil engineering, field then known as mechanic arts become incorporated into engineering. Canal building was important engineering work during early phases of industrializations. You can say Sompton. First. John Sompton was first a self-proclaimed civil engineer and is often regarded as the father of civil engineering. He was an English civil engineer responsible for design of bridges, canals, harbors, and lighthouses. Also a capable mechanical engineer and eminent physicist. Using a model water wheel, Smeaton conducted experiments for 7 years, determining by way to increase efficiency. Smeaton introduced iron axle and gears to water wheels. Smeaton also made mechanical improvements to Newcomen steam engine. Smeaton designed third Eddystone lighthouse, where pioneered use of hydraulic lime, a form of mortar which set underwater, and developed this technique involving dovetailed blocks of granite in buildings of lighthouse is important in history. This rediscovery of a development of modern cement, because he identified compositional requirements to obtain hydrolicity in lime work, which led ultimately to the innovation of Portland cement. So there are so many such historical examples given here. I'm not interested in those, but just as a reference, I tried to get it in this. And we can say, until finished of engineering is also, we can say, what is engineering, link engineering, what is engineering all about? It says engineering definition. As engineering is a scientific field and job that involves taking out scientific understanding of that subject. So you can say logical. Actually, logical, you may say. So we have to go back and find our own way, how we have to move in, and that's where we can say something is here and not this other one. This it has a minor way containing this. So I see coordination is not clearly understood by everybody, and particularly by engineers. It should be in a spread. It's not you have to move on some other definition, you have to create your own definition as well. Nobody stops you. Everybody has some versions. That's what everybody has some way to understand. And we can say without adequate and efficient coordination in professional engineering, works cannot be completed, work cannot be successfully accomplished. But we have to understand because we are there. The time of birth, So we can say without problems that without adequate and efficient coordination in professional engineering, works cannot be successfully done or accomplished. And if I could claim, it shall be right to admit that coordination failure leads to engineering designs and construction failure. There is nothing wrong. It's all right. So we can say coordination is not welcome subjects by engineers, but it's a mandatory subject. So it's not officially recorded, but in field it is done. No one can run away from this fact. In field we have to do coordination, and that is very much required. We have to be very clear about that. In field we cannot move without that. That's the point we have to understand. And this coordination is a continuous business. It can never stop. That once we have to understand, we have to realize this fact. And in engineering, and I can only say, if you can improve your coordination, you can improve your engineering. It can be design engineering or it can be works engineering. Designer also requires coordination, but unfortunately it is that they are only interested in raw design and not in coordinated design. They should know, customized design. Where does it suit him? And until they involve themselves in engineering full in absolute terms with designs and execution, I'm not saying we will help them. The concept is required in designs, and that concept is very important. And if you miss that concept, you cannot say anything else. We can say, it's very difficult for engineers to involve in coordination because when they design, that time only they are available, or maybe services designs they do with people, and those services designers at time of designs may not be clear about equipment that would be installed in that. So we can say that at the time we can say we take professional designs now. At this moment we cannot know what shall happen, we cannot know what will happen. Even electrical and mechanical, which are major disciplines involved in construction. Mechanical disciplines means plumbing, water supply, drainage, internal, external, and whatever all these sanitary systems. As you can say in electrical, all distribution system in all areas, along with many other systems, modern electronic systems, mechanical systems, and whatever else required. All those have some basis, and we have to, what we say, coordinated engineering applies to all these, and only software cannot be relied upon. Because if you say this is basics of provisional one, in that case we cannot decide anything finally, and I think we have to do only provisional work, and that can be done easily. Yeah, I don't think that's much. We have to provide points only. We can say in electrical engineering, just like we say in architectural drawings, we can provide points that here is fan, here is AC, or you can say here is light bulb or light, how many lux are required here, lux illumination in this area and that area, and there are furnishings others, and accordingly we can provide lights or like that in HVAC also. But to keep safety factors, no accidents happen. And from top to bottom, how does it work? And which way is better? We have to ground our equipment, so I have to keep them terrace or intermediate floors. It's all a question of designs and ease of maintenance, ease of use in future. And that point is very much interesting that we have to take care of. We cannot just run away from that. And before concluding today's talk, I would like to say that we have to take positive view designs and at design stage, so we cannot do 100% coordination. That's not practically possible, but at least we should keep in mind sizes, if not more. For example, what size your chiller is or package unit is, or what size your some other equipment is, or what size of sectional water tank is or water tank is, whether it's to be installed on roof or it's to be pressurized pipeline. So all these considerations we have to keep in mind, and what way this building will be used, or what's final expected design, and how shall it work. In that, of course, we can make provisions. We have to provide enough space, and if we have experience in field or we get input from some field engineers, we have faced so many problems. And that's why we say if you have lessons learned recorded in company, those lessons can be informed to others. Those can be used for really actual purpose. These are not just thinking purpose, or we have to be very much useful to that. And that's why I would say we have to be perfect in this way. I would take now leave from you people for this talk, and we'll continue next time. I think the early mornings 2 hours now. Let's do today. It's okay. I'll leave it to you and to do what to do, not to do, and we can start coordination again. I say it's very important from every viewpoint. And here is again I am reminding this my email suraj_engineer@yahoo.co.uk. That's my certification again, and coordination engineering book of page it is, though it is not book, but it may be book someday. And that is enrolling now projects in public. And if you want to see this in full, you can run. It is done to some areas only, and that's there. I have some examples also within my career that have been used. What type of coordinations we have done, that's all here, and also in quality file. And now I like to close this this video for temporarily, and